self-isolate.
That's precisely right. And the original idea is that people that can't afford to stay home, stay away from work, they get a little bit of money to help them while they're self-isolating. And in fact, the numbers show that it's about less than 20% that actually take a report or get tested for COVID because of fear of being testing positive and not being able to work or not being able to go about their lives. And this policy is trying to, in a, if you'll permit me, a wrong way, trying to improve that figure.
Yeah, and I was reading some of your notes, and you say this idea, I'm looking at it right now, it says, this idea could be subject to the law of unintended consequences, and you refer to something known as the Cobra Effect.
Yes, indeed. So this is a famous example, probably the most famous example that we have of a policy having not just unintended consequences, meaning consequences that were not anticipated, but actually making the situation worse. And the story goes that the British government in Delhi had a cobra problem. So they offered people money for turning in cobra skins. And it turned out that cobras are pretty cheap to raise. And so eventually people ended up raising cobras just so that they could turn in their skins and make a quick profit. When the British government found out, they stopped the policy. And of course, all the people that were raising their cobras let them loose in the wild in Delhi, increasing the cobra population. A similar event happened with the French government in Hanoi in Vietnam, and just recently with the Portuguese government, although that was, about gas prices.
Okay, can I ask you this, because we're running out of time. The problem here, I believe, is the universality, right, of the payment.
Yes. That's exactly right. So the problem is that if you just say, well, here's blanket $700 for testing positive, and by the way, I'll also like to remind us that the testing can also happen at home, where nobody's around to see who gets swabbed. You can very easily see that this can create the perverse incentive of people trying to actually catch the virus, although that's an extreme example. But certainly seem like it would have the intended effect. An alternative is to actually expand the scope and make the rules for how you support people who test positive clear. And in fact, there's support right now for people testing positive for coronavirus. It's just that people don't know how to access it. They don't think they're going to get the benefits, and therefore they think it's better off to just not report, and that needs to change.
Dr. Sheheryar Banuri, much appreciated. Fascinating stuff. Stay safe and well. Thank you for your time. Let's go.